we don't make it there, Krishna might be so merciful that he will let us take birth in Vrindavan or Mayapur and grow up with Vaishnava parents who feed us. First grain will be given by some sannyasi or on a silver spoon, and from there on we'll only take prasadam, and before we can even walk, we'll take darshan of the deities in the temple. Our father will keep us on his arm, he'll be chanting Gaura Krsna. So, what's the loss? And if you can't make that, Krishna says, then if you really want to have a party, if you're so conditioned, you're so much in the mode of passion, that you really want to party, okay, I'll send you to the heavenly planets and you can party for a long time, and then you'll come and you'll take birth in a nice family so you can continue. It doesn't get better than that. We are situated in such a inconceivably favorable position. So why not try to push our anarthas to the max, push ourselves into Krishna consciousness to the max, and then, if we still don't find the taste, if we still don't make it in Krishna consciousness, you have the biggest material party in the universe, right? Why settle for, we just came in the morning, Muna and I, and we have to kind of like beware of where you step, because there's all kinds of unpalatable things lying on the road, because people have been so intoxicated that they couldn't keep their dinner inside, right? What type of party is that? And you see them sitting in the train, they're like, suffering for a few hours of poison intake. So many times we're maybe not contemplating actually how fortunate we are. I know I'm not taking as much advantage of Krishna consciousness as I could. But I can definitely see that this is it. This is where the ultimate potent experiences in life are, and will continue to be eternally. And I know that I'm not going anywhere. I should just move faster than I'm moving now, to come more into the spiritual world. So we can use these, say, like mistakes of Lord Indra in our own lives, in the way that we try to maybe spend some time to analyze where am I committing offenses towards the holy name, towards the Vaishnavas, and then try to use the experiences of others to optimize our own advancement, instead of having to make disrespectful behaviors towards our guru. It won't be any different. It will still be that reaction which will come, or any other offensive or sinful behavior. So Bhagavatam is very good advice. You get very good advice, and you get the experience of others, so you can actually optimize your own ways of behavior. And it's written by Srila Vyasadeva, or it's actually written by Ganesh, but it's spoken by Srila Vyasadeva. And because I haven't been reading Bhagavatam for a long time, because I've been doing all these studies, so I was just thinking that in 2011 we went to Badrinath in Himalaya, and there's a place called Vyasa Gufa, which is the cave where Vyasadeva he spoke the Bhagavatam to Ganesh. And there is a very, very wonderful deity there of Vyasadeva, which two very nice brahmanas, not from East Concord. They're very nice. They are taking care of Vyasadeva there. And he is very, very compassionate. You can see his eyes, when you look into his eyes, that he is such a soft expression in his eyes. So it's very nice. Whenever you come to Bhadranath, please, you have to go and take darshan of Vyasadeva. It's a very nice experience. And the Brahmanas there, they're very kind. They cooked khichdi for us. We went out further in the mountains. When we came down, they cooked khichdi. So we got Vyasadeva's Mahaprasad, sat there in Bhadranath watching Ganga and taking prasad. It's very nice. So you get, in that place, you really get a feeling of how much the acharyas, they want us to come back. How tearful their eyes are, how warm their hearts are. So that we can actually jump into the same ocean of Krishna praying as they really long to see us there. You could feel it in Brahman. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any comments, questions?
I'd like to mention that the demigods condemn Indra.
Yeah.
Is that a fact?
Yeah, it says here. It says, people began to blaspheme him, saying, this person has killed a Brahman for the sake of enjoying him in material happiness. And it also says, what was it? They all left without speaking to Indra. And all the devas, they left from that place without speaking to Indra. So it's a little like neglectful. I don't know, people here might refer not to demigods. It might refer to people on other planets, but it could also include the devas. But it said in a previous purport that they all left that place not speaking to Indra. And maybe find it afterwards. So the way I'm picking it up here is that they were kind of happy that he did it, right? Because he saved that leg. But it was not something, honorable. It was a dirty job, get this guy before he gets on. And then they just left without really.
Envious, they fought fight.
Yeah, they're just kind of. It was not a glorious thing. They knew that. It was a little like, hey, look, and Indra did it, so he was not glorious in that sense, right? I'll see you next time. Yeah, Mati?
I was just wondering about this, what you said about Lord Brahma, that they have 50 years left by reaching Kamaloka. But at the same time, we also hear that the living entities, when they fall from the spiritual sky, they take the position of Lord Brahma first. Is that so? And then they gradually further and further?
Yeah, first life we all had was as Lord Brahma. But because some Brahmas are pure devotees, so if they have been sent, it said sometimes Krishna cannot find someone who's qualified, so he makes it's not a Vibhinansha, it's not an original incarnation of himself, but it's some kind of like Shakyavesa. and he becomes Brahma himself, right? In that capacity, or he invests his powers in someone who is a pure devotee, like Lord Brahma is a pure devotee. So in that sense, there are different levels of consciousness of those who become Brahma. Right? So most universes, they don't have devotees in that position. It's people who are, everyone is a devotee, but they're on the way down. And then after Brahma, they become something else, and they end up crawling around in an ant body or something like that. But that's not the case for our Lord Brahma.
Yes, you mentioned that Vyasadeva, he cited the Srimad Bhagavatam and Ganesha wrote it down. I heard the same thing with Mahabharata, but I never heard it with Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah, we discussed it recently.
He is the compiler of all the Vedas, but not just the Puranas, but also the Vedas. And if you read, it's in first canto, where is the description that Vyas, he sat down on the bank of Ganga, and he did Achman, and then he actually compiled from Rigveda, I think, or Jayaveda, I'm not sure. From one of the Vedas he made 4. And then the Puranas and the Itihasas were spoken, right? So exactly, how it went on with Ganesh, I don't know. But the deal was, what I heard is that, he was not allowed to write anything. His pen was not allowed to stop. Right? The deal was that Ganesh, he was not allowed to stop.
Couldn't write anything until he understood it.
Yeah, he had to understand whatever you wrote down. He had to become self-realized completely, And his condition was, that's okay, but then also my pen should never stop. So Vyasadeva, he should just speak uninterrupted. So in that sense, you would have to speak, starting with the first, sloka of the Vedas, and then you go on, and then at the end, stop. And at the same time, Ganesh, you had to understand what was going on. Right? So that's what I have heard of the topic. So that's what I can say. In one sense, it's a side detail. The main thing is that it is here. It's if it's in written form, or if it's in actually, smriti, or that is how it's been done for thousands of years. There hasn't been written anything down. Right? It's just because Vyasadeva could see that they won't be able to become Chaturvedis. What the Brahmanas of yore they could do is amazing. They knew, I think they had 7 systems of checking a mantra. When they recited it, they recited with 7 references, 7 systems of reference, so that they were sure that they pronounced it correctly. And they could chant all 4 Vedas, which is I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of slokas. They could chant them backwards, forwards and backwards. And they could recite them according to those 7 systems of checking if the pronunciation was right. We haven't even maybe gone through all Bhagavatam or so the point is that the Vedanta is there, and that is our great fortune that we can actually still get the process of Krishna consciousness in this time and age. And that is mainly due to Vyasadeva, right? That he actually simplified it and specified it. And these 5 angas are there of bhakti, which you have to do right? Because if you start getting into some of the ritualistic karmakanda sections of the Vedas, you won't get bhakti. You would maybe get Indra's position or something like that, right? So the acharyas have been so kind that they have very clearly sifted out all the flowery language, all the karmakanda things from the bhakti things, right? In the Puranas, right? Or especially in Bhagavatam. And they have also given the whole setup for an ashram, so that no matter who you are, you can actually advance from whatever position you have. And it's amazing. It's an amazing construction that they have made, which from no matter where you crawl out, you can actually come to Krishna Prema. It's not that it's broken somewhere, you cannot advance because there's some information missing. Anywhere, from any situation of life, you can come to the supreme platform of Krishna consciousness. Andra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.